Elias Thorne had always been drawn to the edge of the galaxy, where the stars looked cold and lonely. He liked places where humans rarely went, places the alien races whispered about in fear. Star Shelter was one of those places. A small, remote orbital colony perched on the rim of known space, it was home to outcasts, smugglers, and creatures the galaxy did not want to see. Elias floated outside his small shuttle, the metal walls of Star Shelter glinting faintly in the light of a distant sun. He had heard rumors, whispers of a creature so powerful and feared that no one dared approach it. They called it Melkur. The stories painted it as a monster, a dragon whose very presence had caused wars, destroyed ships, and earned the hatred of countless species. Most believed it was gone, hiding in the dark corners of the galaxy, nursing old wounds. But Elias believed otherwise. He had always been different from other humans. While most saw danger and turned away, Elias saw challenge and curiosity. Something inside him told him that Melkur was not just a monster. There was pain there, and maybe, just maybe, it could be reached. He entered the quiet station of Star Shelter. The walls were lined with flickering lights, and the corridors smelled of metal and recycled air. Aliens of all shapes and sizes moved carefully around him, their eyes following him with suspicion. Some whispered under their breath, "The human thinks he can tame the beast." Others shook their heads, muttering warnings. But Elias ignored them. He had come too far to listen to fear. He climbed a narrow staircase to the outer observation deck, where the rumors said Melkur hid. The night sky stretched endlessly before him, a canvas of black speckled with stars. Then he saw it. A shadow moved across the edge of a ruined docking bay. Massive, jagged, and dark, with eyes that glowed faintly like embers. Even from a distance, Elias felt the heat of its presence. This was Melkur, the dragon that had haunted stories across the galaxy. Elias took a deep breath. His heart pounded, not with fear, but with a strange kind of excitement. He moved slowly, making sure not to startle the creature. Most humans would have stayed far away, but he stepped closer, speaking softly. "I'm not here to hurt you," he said, his voice steady. "I only want to understand." For a long moment, nothing happened. Then, Melkur shifted, revealing scars along its massive body, old burns, and deep gashes that had clearly never healed properly. It let out a low growl that shook the metal floor beneath Elias' feet. But there was something else too, something almost human in its eyes. Pain. Sadness. Loneliness. Elias crouched slightly, lowering himself to seem smaller, less threatening. "I know you've been hurt," he said. "I know they fear you. But I don't. I just want to help." The dragon tilted its head, observing him. Its breath came in short, hot bursts, steam rising into the cold night air. Elias noticed that despite its size and strength, it did not attack. It was wary, cautious, but not aggressive. That small moment, that hesitation, was a door. Elias could feel it. He slowly reached out a hand, palm open. Melkur flinched, a small movement, but it did not strike. Elias' heart raced as he inched closer. He knew the first step was the hardest. One wrong move, one sign of fear or aggression, and it could end badly. But Elias had never been one to back down from something the galaxy said was impossible. "Trust me," he whispered. "Just a little. That's all I ask." The dragon studied him for what felt like an eternity. Its eyes, fierce and ancient, softened slightly. Then, it did something no one in the galaxy had ever seen, it lowered its massive head toward him. Its rough, jagged scales brushed against his arm as he reached out. A spark of warmth, a faint life force, hummed beneath the surface. Elias felt it, the dragon's pain, its anger, its loneliness, but also a flicker of hope. Elias smiled, careful not to move too fast. "I won't let them hurt you," he said. "Not anymore." For the first time, Melkur made a sound that was not a growl or a roar. It was soft, almost like a sigh. Elias understood then that this was more than a monster. It was a creature who had been abandoned, hated, and feared. And for some reason, it had chosen to let him see it. Elias spent the next few hours sitting near Melkur, talking quietly, moving slowly, learning the rhythm of its breathing, the pattern of its movements. He could see the tension in its muscles ease just a little. Each moment was a victory. Each second brought a new understanding. By the time Starshelter's distant sun began to rise, painting the sky with shades of red and gold, Elias knew he had made a choice that would change everything. He had found Melkur, the monster dragon the galaxy feared. And he had chosen to adopt it, not as a weapon, not as a trophy, but as a friend. No one else in the galaxy could understand it yet. But Elias did. And for the first time, Melkur's eyes did not show only anger. They showed a glimmer of trust. The galaxy would be shocked. But Elias didn't care. He had made his decision. Elias woke to the cold hum of Starshelter's machinery and the faint orange glow of the rising sun. Melkur was still there, lying on the edge of the docking bay, its massive wings folded awkwardly, its tail coiled like a heavy rope. For a creature that had terrorized the galaxy, it seemed almost tired. Elias studied it quietly. Every scar, every burn, told a story of battles and betrayals, of a life spent fighting against everyone who hated it. He stepped closer, keeping his movements slow. "Morning, Melkur," he said softly. The dragon lifted its head just enough to look at him, nostrils flaring slightly. It seemed to remember him, though suspicion still lingered in those deep, amber eyes. Elias knew that gaining trust wouldn't be fast. This was a creature that had learned the hard way: trust could kill you. Elias brought out a small package of food, alien meat carefully preserved, something he knew the dragon could eat. He placed it a short distance away. Melkur watched but didn't move. Elias crouched a few meters back, hands open, trying to look non-threatening. "I'm not going to take it from you," he said. "You decide if you want it." The dragon's head twitched, sniffing the air. Its claws scraped the metal floor softly. Then, slowly, it moved toward the food. Elias held his breath. Each step the dragon took felt like a small victory. When Melkur finally bent down to eat, Elias didn't flinch. He let the moment last. For hours, Elias stayed nearby, observing, learning. He spoke softly, telling Melkur about the stars, about human colonies, about things it might never have seen. Sometimes Melkur made a low growl, other times it tilted its head curiously. Each small sound was progress. Elias knew the galaxy had called this creature a monster, but to him, it was intelligent, cautious, and aware, a being who had suffered greatly and survived. Then, the sound came. A voice, sharp and alien, echoed across the docking bay. "Human. Step away from the beast." Elias turned to see a patrol of alien guards approaching. Their shapes were strange, all limbs and eyes in places that made human instincts scream danger. They carried weapons that could pierce starship hulls. "Melkur is dangerous," one said in a harsh tone. "You are forbidden to interact with it." Elias stood, his hands raised slightly but calmly. "It won't hurt anyone," he said. "I'm not here to harm it. I just want to understand it." The aliens exchanged glances. "Understanding will get you killed. Move back." Melkur stirred, lifting its massive head, its wings flicking. Elias felt the dragon tense, ready to strike if provoked. But he didn't move. He knew the creature could sense fear, and humans who hesitated often died. His calm, steady presence seemed to reach Melkur. Slowly, it settled again, eyes locked on him. The alien leader stepped forward, weapon raised. "You will leave, human. Or Melkur dies." Elias took a deep breath. "No," he said. His voice was quiet but firm. "I won't leave. And I won't let you hurt it." There was a pause. A standoff. Then Melkur roared, a deep, echoing sound that shook the metal walls and made the alien stagger back. Its fire glimmered faintly in the dim light, but it did not strike. Elias put a hand on his chest, speaking softly to the dragon. It's okay, he said. I'm here. Trust me. The roar faded into a low rumble. The aliens stared, unsure, their fear growing. Elias realized that Melkur's hesitation mirrored his own calm. The dragon would not attack while he remained steady. He was learning the rhythm of its trust. Hours passed. The patrol eventually left, grumbling, muttering about the reckless human and the beast no one could control. Elias and Melkur were alone again. The tension in the dragon's body eased slightly. Its eyes no longer burned with suspicion alone, they carried a spark of recognition, a small acknowledgement that this human was different. Elias spent the rest of the day near the dragon, moving slowly, speaking softly, sometimes touching its scales gently. Melkur allowed it, even leaned into the touch occasionally. It was a small step, but it meant everything. The galaxy called this creature a monster, but Elias saw more than size and power. He saw intelligence, pain, and the chance for something no one else had dared to believe, trust. By nightfall, Melkur was following him, keeping a careful distance, wings half spread as if ready to flee but choosing not to. Elias smiled, tired but thrilled. The dragon had made its first choice, it had stayed. Elias knew the challenge was only beginning. The galaxy would not wait quietly while a human tried to bond with the most feared creature in history. Aliens would send hunters, bounty seekers, and armies. But he had learned something powerful: courage, patience, and empathy could tame what no one else could. And as Melkur lay beside him, eyes glowing faintly under the starlight, Elias whispered, "We'll show them, old friend. We'll show them all." It was the beginning of a bond that would shock the galaxy, a human and a monster dragon, standing together against fear, prejudice, and every impossible odds. Elias woke to a quiet station, the hum of star shelter faint in the background. Melkur lay in the same place as the day before, massive wings folded, tail coiled carefully. But something was different now. The dragon's eyes followed him with curiosity, not fear. Elias smiled. Today, he was going to take the next step. He had spent days observing, learning, and speaking softly. Every movement, every sound mattered. He knew the galaxy believed Melkur could never be trusted. But he also knew humans were different. Humans had courage, patience, and the ability to see beyond fear. Elias had made a choice. He would adopt this dragon, not as a weapon, but as a friend, and the galaxy would not stop him. Elias approached Melkur slowly, carrying a harness and a set of tools he had designed himself. They were meant to help guide the dragon, not control it. He knelt beside Melkur's massive claw and spoke gently. "We're going to do this together. I won't hurt you. I promise." The dragon tilted its head, nostrils flaring, studying the strange objects. It was wary, but it did not move away. Elias took that as a good sign. He had learned the most important thing: trust was earned in small steps. One wrong move, and everything could be lost. Hours passed as Elias worked carefully, explaining every motion. He slid the harness over Melkur's massive neck, adjusting it slowly so it did not hurt. He touched Melkur lightly, letting the dragon feel the human's presence was steady, not threatening. And then, finally, Melkur allowed him to guide it a few steps around the docking bay. It was small progress, but to Elias, it was huge. He felt the dragon's muscles relax slightly under his touch, its breathing slowing. Melkur was beginning to trust him. But the galaxy would not allow this quietly. Rumors of Elias taming Melkur had already spread. Alien patrols appeared in the sky above Star Shelter, ships glinting with weapons designed to pierce even Melkur's thick scales. Aliens whispered of human foolishness. "The human will die," they said. "The dragon is too dangerous to tame." Elias ignored them. He had never been afraid of warnings. He had a plan. He would not let anyone harm Melkur. He had chosen this creature. He had accepted the danger. The first attack came at dawn. Alien ships swooped down, their energy weapons lighting up the sky. Melkur roared, a sound so deep it shook the docking bay walls. Elias climbed onto the dragon's back, feeling the heat of its scales and the power beneath him. For a moment, he felt fear, not for himself, but for Melkur. The dragon had never fought with a human riding it before. "Hold steady," he whispered. "I'm here. We're together." Melkur responded with a low growl, then leapt into the air, powerful wings carrying them above the station. Energy bolts streaked past them, hitting the walls and floor below. Elias clung tightly, trusting Melkur completely. He had never ridden a creature like this, but he had faith in the bond they had built. They moved as one. Melkur dodged and twisted, avoiding attacks with surprising intelligence. Elias shouted instructions, not commands, but guidance. Together, they forced the alien attackers to retreat. Word spread fast: a human had ridden the galaxy's most hated dragon, and survived. The next days were filled with preparation. Elias reinforced the docking bay, taught Melkur simple maneuvers, and built a small human-made resting area for him. He spoke to the other humans in Star Shelter, showing them that Melkur was not a weapon of destruction, but a being capable of loyalty and understanding. Some humans were afraid, some were in awe, but all could see the bond forming between man and dragon. The alien authorities did not approve. They sent letters, threats, and eventually, a small strike team to capture Melkur. Elias refused to give in. "He is under my protection," he said. "No one harms him. No one controls him. He is not a tool. He is my friend." Melkur roared again, a deep sound that echoed through the stars. For the first time, the galaxy witnessed it, the feared monster dragon responding not with destruction, but with loyalty to a human. Elias rode Melkur across Star Shelter, showing everyone the strength and courage of humans. He did not shout or boast. He simply stood beside the dragon, calm, steady, and fearless. For the first time, the aliens saw something unexpected. The galaxy had taught them to fear humans as reckless and weak. Yet here was a human who could face the impossible, who could bond with a creature no one dared approach, and survive. The galaxy was not ready for this. Elias and Melkur spent the night above Star Shelter, looking down at the small colony below. Stars twinkled in the distance, but Elias's mind was on the future. He knew challenges would come, bigger than this first attack. But he also knew something powerful: human courage, determination, and empathy could overcome fear, hatred, and even the impossible. Melkur lowered his head, letting Elias pat it gently. The dragon's amber eyes gleamed in the starlight. Elias smiled. "We're ready," he whispered. "We'll show them what humans can do." And in that moment, above the quiet colony of Star Shelter, the first seeds of rebellion were planted, not against a government or army, but against the galaxy's belief that humans were weak. Elias had adopted a monster, and together, they would challenge everything the galaxy thought it knew. The galaxy would be shocked. But Elias didn't care. He had made his choice, and Melkur had chosen him in return. Together, they were unstoppable. The sun had barely risen over Star Shelter when the alarm sounded. Elias was already awake, standing beside Melkur. The dragon's scales shimmered in the first light, his eyes alert, nostrils flaring. The quiet morning turned tense in an instant. Something was coming, and Elias knew it wasn't a simple patrol. From the horizon, a fleet of alien warships appeared, dark silhouettes against the rising sun. Their weapons glinted with deadly energy, and their speed showed they were not here for warnings. Elias's heart thumped, but he did not flinch. He had faced danger before, but this was different. They were after Melkur. They wanted the galaxy's most feared dragon dead, or captured. "Melkur," Elias whispered, placing a hand on the dragon's massive neck. "We can do this. Trust me." The dragon let out a low rumble, a sound of readiness. Elias climbed onto Melkur's back, feeling the heat and raw power beneath him. This was the moment that would test everything they had built together: trust, loyalty, and courage. The alien ships opened fire. Energy bolts streaked through the sky, some hitting Star Shelter's outer walls. The colony shook with each impact. Elias held tightly as Melkur twisted, avoiding the blasts with astonishing speed. The dragon moved as if it could read the attacks before they came, its instincts sharp, its trust in Elias absolute. "Hold steady!" Elias shouted. "Left! Down! Now!" Melkur responded, diving between two energy blasts, wings cutting through the air with power no ship could match. Elias leaned forward, whispering encouragement. "We can do this, old friend. Together." They rose above the station, circling the alien fleet. Elias could see the alien pilots struggling to adjust. Melkur's size and speed were unlike anything they had faced. But there were too many of them. He needed a plan, and fast. Elias pointed to the largest ship, the command vessel. "That one," he said. "If we disable it, the rest will scatter." Melkur roared, a sound that echoed across the sky, shaking even the smaller ships. Elias gripped his seat as the dragon dove toward the command vessel, flames lighting the air. Energy shields flared, but Melkur twisted mid-flight, avoiding them, and slammed into the ship with massive claws. Sparks flew, metal twisted, and the vessel shuddered violently. The other ships hesitated. Seeing the dragon attack a command ship threw them off balance. Elias leaned close to Melkur, shouting instructions. "Now, spin! Hit the engines! Take it down!" Melkur obeyed. In a breathtaking display of power and trust, the dragon tore into the alien ship's engines. Explosions erupted, sending debris scattering across space. The remaining ships faltered, unsure of what to do. They had underestimated a human's courage, paired with a creature the galaxy called a monster. Below, Starshelter's residents watched in awe. Humans, aliens, and outcasts alike could not believe their eyes. A human had ridden the feared Melkur into battle, and survived. Worse, he had turned the monster into a savior. Shouts of amazement and hope spread through the colony. The battle raged for hours. Melkur and Elias moved with unmatched coordination, dodging attacks, striking key ships, and protecting the station. Every action showed something the galaxy had not expected: human intelligence, courage, and empathy combined with a creature no one dared approach. Finally, the last alien ship retreated, engines smoking, weapons destroyed. Melkur landed carefully beside Elias, wings folding slowly. The dragon's chest heaved, steam rising from his nostrils. Elias climbed down, brushing his hands over Melkur's massive head. "You did it," Elias said, voice low but filled with pride. "We did it. Together." Melkur let out a low rumble, a sound Elias recognized as satisfaction. No roar, no threat, just acknowledgement. The dragon had trusted him fully in the heat of battle, and Elias had guided him with calm courage. It was more than victory, it was proof of loyalty, proof of a bond that could not be broken. The colony erupted in cheers. Humans hugged each other, aliens stared in disbelief, and even some of Melkur's old enemies were forced to reconsider what they had believed. A human had taken the impossible, faced death, and emerged victorious, not with technology or weapons alone, but with courage, heart, and trust. Elias looked up at the stars, thinking of the journey ahead. The galaxy would not forget this. Alien leaders would try to challenge them again. Hunters and armies would come. But he had learned something stronger than any weapon: human courage, combined with empathy and intelligence, could turn even the most feared creature into an ally. Melkur nudged Elias gently with his snout, almost as if sensing his thoughts. Elias smiled. "We'll face them together," he said. "No matter what comes next." That night, Starshelter slept under a quiet sky, but Elias and Melkur remained awake. They gazed out at the stars, silent partners in a bond no one in the galaxy could have imagined. The test of loyalty was over, but it had changed everything. Humans could be heroes. Humans could face the impossible. And humans could forge connections the galaxy would never expect. Elias whispered to the dragon, "We've made them see something new. They'll never forget us." Melkur rumbled softly in agreement. And together, human and dragon, they prepared for the challenges that were sure to come, stronger, braver, and united like no one had ever seen. Star Shelter had never seen a morning like this. Word of Elias and Melkur's victory had spread across the galaxy faster than any human could have imagined. Ships hovered at the edge of the station, not attacking this time, but watching. Aliens whispered, some afraid, some curious. For the first time, many of them looked at humans with respect, or at least with caution. Elias stood on the observation platform, Melkur's massive body coiled beside him. The dragon's eyes glowed softly in the morning light. He could feel the weight of the galaxy's gaze, the expectation, and the disbelief. But Elias did not fear it. He had chosen this path long ago, and now the galaxy was watching the results of that choice. The first visitors arrived slowly. Alien leaders, once certain that humans were weak, came in small, cautious groups. They carried no weapons at first, only curiosity and doubt. They looked at Melkur and then at Elias, trying to understand what they were seeing. A human had adopted the most feared dragon in the galaxy, and together, they had survived attacks no one believed possible. Elias spoke first. His voice was calm, firm, and filled with the kind of courage humans were known for. Melkur is not a weapon, he said. He is a living being, like any of you. He deserves respect, and so do we. Humans are capable of more than fear or violence. We can be allies, protectors, and friends. We can face the impossible, and we can succeed. The aliens looked at each other, unsure how to respond. Some scoffed quietly. Others shifted nervously. But no one argued. They had seen the display, the skill, and the courage. They had seen a human ride a creature the galaxy called a monster and emerge victorious. That was proof enough. Then, Melkur moved. He lowered his massive head slowly, nudging Elias gently. The gesture was deliberate, respectful, and almost ceremonial. It was as if the dragon was showing the galaxy that he had chosen Elias, not because he was the strongest or the fastest, but because he was human. The dragon's loyalty was a message: humans could be trusted when others doubted them. The galaxy's perception began to change. Ships that had once hovered with weapons drawn now lowered them slightly. Diplomats started conversations instead of threats. A species that had planned to destroy or capture Melkur now sought alliances with the human who had tamed him. Elias walked among the visiting leaders, Melkur following close behind. He demonstrated simple gestures of trust and patience, showing that human empathy was not weakness. Fear is easy, he said, addressing the group. Courage is harder. But when courage meets compassion, the impossible becomes possible. Humans can be the difference the galaxy needs. For the first time, many of the aliens saw humans differently. Not as reckless survivors or fragile creatures, but as beings capable of extraordinary bravery and wisdom. Some whispered, perhaps the legends were wrong. Perhaps humans are not to be feared, but respected. Elias did not stop there. Over the next weeks, he worked with Melkur to help rebuild parts of Star Shelter damaged during the attack. Together, they rescued alien miners trapped in collapsed tunnels and defended colonies from rogue raiders. Every act reinforced the message: humans were not only capable of surviving, they were capable of leading, protecting, and inspiring. Word spread faster than ever. Humans were no longer seen as weak or insignificant. Stories of Elias and Melkur became legends. Children whispered about the human who had befriended a monster dragon. Adults debated what it meant for the balance of power in the galaxy. And everywhere, respect for humanity grew. Finally, one quiet evening, Elias and Melkur stood at the edge of Star Shelter, looking out at the vast galaxy. The stars stretched endlessly, familiar yet full of new possibilities. Melkur lowered his head beside Elias, letting out a soft rumble. It was a sound of contentment, trust, and acknowledgement. Elias ran a hand along the dragon's massive scales. "We've done more than survive," Elias said softly. "We've changed how they see us. We've shown them that humans can face what no one else can." The dragon blinked slowly, as if agreeing. Elias smiled, feeling a sense of peace he had never known. They were not just allies. They were a symbol, a reminder that courage, loyalty, and empathy could change even the galaxy's oldest beliefs. In the days that followed, ambassadors visited Star Shelter, seeking guidance, understanding, and alliances. Melkur became a symbol of hope, not fear. Humans were no longer underestimated. And Elias? He continued to explore, to protect, and to teach the galaxy a simple truth, that even the most impossible challenges could be met with courage and compassion. The galaxy had been shocked, yes. But it had learned something even more important: humans were extraordinary. And together with creatures like Melkur, nothing, not fleets, not fear, not hatred, could stop them. As the stars twinkled above, Elias whispered one last time, feeling the dragon's presence beside him. "We did it, old friend. They will never forget us." Melkur rumbled in response, and together, human and dragon gazed at the endless galaxy, ready for whatever came next. The impossible had been achieved, the feared had been tamed, and humanity had earned a place the galaxy could no longer ignore.